Hello, everyone. Welcome to Inside Talk Show. I'm Carla Elizondo. We're on day 3 of chapter 1 in the book from Neville Goddard, Feeling is the Secret. We're going to finish this first chapter, and we're just going to keep continuing. The subconscious never fails to express that which has been impressed upon it. The moment it receives an impression, it begins to work out the ways of its expression. It accepts the feeling impressed upon it, your feeling, as a fact existing within itself, and immediately sets about to produce in the outer or objective world the exact likeness of that feeling. The subconscious never alters the accepted beliefs of man. It outpictures them to the last detail, whether or not they are beneficial. And remember, Neville Goddard talks about the subconscious, this part in our mind, as being where God is, the kingdom of heaven. God, the Lord, universal intelligence is in the subconscious. So if we replaced the word subconscious for God, God never fails to express that which has been impressed upon it. God can never alter the beliefs that we accept. We have the free will. God can't interfere with our free will. That's why we have it. So when we say, well, why didn't God help me? Why didn't God stop that bad thing from happening? Because we as human beings have free will. It can't be interfered with. I thought that was interesting. To impress the subconscious with the desirable state, you must assume that the feeling that would be yours had you already realized your wish. In defining your objective, you must be concerned only with the objective itself. The manner of expression or the difficulties involved are not to be considered by you. Don't think about how it's going to happen. Just think about what you want. What do you want to produce? What do you want to create? Who do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish? Don't think about the how. Just focus your attention and your emotion as if you were already there. Remember, be in the state. Like I am in Madrid. I'm already in Madrid. It's just a matter of the outside catching up with it. The manner of expression or the difficulties. Okay, so it says in defining your objective, whatever you want, you must be concerned only with the objective itself. The manner of expression or the difficulties involved are not to be considered by you. To think feelingly on any state impresses it on the subconscious. So to think with a feeling, so having a picture in your mind of something mixed with feeling, impresses it on the subconscious. Therefore, if you dwell on difficulties, barriers, or delays, the subconscious, by its very non-selective nature, accepts the feeling of difficulties and obstacles as your request and proceeds to produce them in your outer world. Remember, the conscious part is the masculine or the seed. The subconscious is the feminine or the soil. We use this language all the time. We know how it works in nature, and it works the same in us. We already use this language. Mother Nature. We are a part of Mother Nature. We are a part of this earth. How things run outside of us and we look, wow, that's so amazing. Wow. Well, let's flip that on ourselves. We can understand by studying life and nature. We can better understand ourselves, but no, we think we work differently. We're humans. We're just the apex creature. Well, we're not really handling it well. Given the current state of things and the statistics of mental health in this world, we're getting something wrong. Let's think about it in a different way. The manner of expression or the difficulties involved are not to be considered by you. To think feelingly on any state impresses it on the subconscious. Therefore, if you dwell on difficulties, barriers, or delays, the subconscious, by its very non-selective nature, accepts the feeling of difficulties and obstacles as your request and proceeds to produce them in your outer world. So whatever state you dwell in and you plant in the soil will produce fruit, good or bad. Mother Earth doesn't care what you plant in it, just like our subconscious doesn't matter what you plant in it. It will produce. So we just have to guard our mind, be more careful. What seeds are we planting in the soil? What thoughts are we putting into our heart? Whatever that is, we will see it outside played in our world. As without, so within. The subconscious is the womb of creation. It receives the idea unto itself through the feeling of us. It never changes the idea received, but always gives it form. It never changes the idea received, but always gives it form. So when the soil, Mother Earth, sees a seed, it's planted, it doesn't change it. So if you plant a carrot seed, Mother Earth doesn't say, well, I really want sweet potatoes, so I'm going to change this. No. Just like our mind, if we think frustration, anger, resentment, that's what's planted in our heart. And then we bear fruit of that. We get more of that. What are you producing? You literally are the produce section. You are producing all the time. What plants, what seeds are you planting? And what fruit? I'll tell you what seeds you're planting. Open up, look around at the fruits of your life. And this is, if you can do this, and this is not easy, I'm not saying this lightly. This means taking full responsibility for your experience of life. And remember, not what Schmo Joe or your brother or your family member are producing. You didn't attract that, they did. And yes, we're affected by it. We can choose to be affected by it. But we can also choose to not be affected by it, just like Viktor Frankl in the internment camps. That is by far, I always go back to Man's Search for Meaning, the best example of no matter how horrific any outside circumstances are, we can remain in control of our inner state, of our thoughts. Nobody can control our thoughts. We can remain at a state of inner peace when the outside world is the ugliest, scariest, and most atrocious. That's life's work, inner peace, no matter what. How would that feel? Isn't that lovely? It's daily work and we can do it. You're doing it. You're doing great. The subconscious is the womb of creation. It receives the idea unto itself through the feeling of us. It never changes the idea received, but always gives it form. Hence, the subconscious outpictures the idea in the image and likeness of the feeling received. To feel a state as hopeless or impossible is to impress the subconscious with the idea of failure. Although the subconscious faithfully serves man, it must not be inferred that the relation is that of a servant to a master, as was anciently conceived. The ancient prophets called it the slave and servant of man. St. Paul personified it as, hold on here, woman, and said the woman should be subject to the man. So the subconscious is subject to the conscious in everything, the masculine and feminine. The subconscious does serve man. The feminine soil does serve the seed, the masculine, and faithfully gives from whatever's planted from him, from the masculine. However, the subconscious, the female, the woman, has a distinct distaste for compulsion and responds to persuasion rather than to command. Consequently, it resembles the beloved wife more than a servant. You really got to get into this metaphor to get it. Don't let old programming or triggers miss this. Don't let that hold you back from really getting the most out of this message. The subconscious has a distinct distaste for compulsion and responds to persuasion rather than to command. We must persuade. When we plant a seed, we persuade the soil by watering it, by taking care of it, by cultivating it. We persuade the beautiful plants to grow. Our conscious mind persuades the subconscious. We can't just force. That's not how nature is. It has to be persuade. The husband is head of the wife. May not be true of man and woman in their earthly relationships, but it is true of the conscious and subconscious, or the male and female aspects of consciousness. The mystery to which Paul referred when he wrote, "This is a great mystery. He that loveth his wife loveth himself, and they shall They shall two be one flesh. So really see your mind, really understand your mind. Nature shows us all the time. That's how we work. This is the masculine, this is the feminine. Husband, wife, whatever you want to call it. Seed, soil. Becoming one. Producing. And further it writes, like we produce our children, our babies, in the form of ideas and, creations. So the two shall become one is simply the mystery of consciousness. Consciousness is really one. Consciousness is really one and undivided, but for creation's sake, it appears to be divided into two. The conscious objective or male aspect truly is the head and dominates the subconscious subjective or female aspect. However, this leadership is not of the tyrant, but of the lover. So by assuming the feeling that would be yours, were you already in possession of your objective, the subconscious is moved to build the exact likeness of your assumption. Your desires are not subconsciously accepted until you assume the feeling of their reality. For only through feeling is an idea subconsciously accepted, and only through this subconscious acceptance is it ever expressed. So your desires are not subconsciously, all the desires you have, all the thoughts you have, your desires are not subconsciously accepted until you assume the feeling, until you get emotionally involved with it in their reality. You have to get emotionally involved. For only through feeling, only if it's here, this is the only way, is an idea that was once here, but now it's in the heart, subconsciously accepted. And that's the only way through this subconscious acceptance is it ever expressed to your results, your outside world results. Listen to this. It is easier to ascribe your feelings to events outside, from the outside world, than it is to admit that the conditions of the world reflect your feeling. So it's easier to blame the outside world for the conditions you feel inside than it is to take full responsibility for your inner condition, having caused the outside experience. So it is easier to ascribe your feeling to events in the world than to admit that the conditions of the world reflect your feeling. This is so true, and this is so simple. When you're in love and you're first dating someone and you're just on cloud nine, everything's in 3D color. You just see the good in everything. The birds are chirping. If somebody accidentally cuts in front of you in line, you're like, it's okay. It's okay. Carry on. But when you've been cheated on, if the sun comes out, if anybody is bright and shiny, they can kiss my butt. And if someone cuts me off, oh, hell no, you better get to the back of the line. That's the same situation in the outside world. I was the one that was different on the inside. My attitude, my mental state dictates my experience on the outside world. The guy cutting me off, the sunshine and the funshine are all the same, but they're experienced two different ways. So the outside world is as it is, depending on how we are inside. However, so it's easier to ascribe and blame the outside world for the way we feel than to understand that the outside world is because of the way we feel. However, it is eternally true that the outside mirrors the inside. As within, so without. A man can receive nothing unless it is given him from heaven. And remember, a man can receive nothing in the outside world unless it is given to him from heaven, kingdom of heaven. Unless it's here. We can't get it. If it's not in our kingdom of heaven, our subconscious mind, in our heart of hearts, we will never be able to receive it. A man can receive nothing unless it is given to him from heaven. And the kingdom of heaven is within you. Nothing comes from without. Nothing comes from without. Nothing comes from without. That's why people who have so much stuff, success, money, cars, they can be so miserable and jumping off buildings. If the outside world and stuff and things were the cause of our happiness, people that had those things would be happy, but they're not. So it just proves the fact that it doesn't matter what you have. And to the opposite point, people who live in just absolute poverty, happy as clams. The outside world doesn't matter. It's your mindset, your attitude, what you think. That's your experience, the only one that matters. Nothing comes from without. All things come from within, from the subconscious, that heart bottom part. It is impossible for you to see other than the contents of your consciousness. It is impossible for you to see anything outside of your consciousness. If you don't hold it with your heart and get emotionally involved, it will never be a possibility in your life. That's why they say the importance of believing in yourself. If you're an actor or an artist, but you do not believe that you can do it, you will never see it in the real world. Start believing in yourself. Start imagining a different way. It could take a little bit, but that's what auto-suggestion, affirmations are for, studying this stuff every day. In my experience, acting classes and being a part of a theater group and doing all that is so important for your craft. But your craft is nothing without your mind. I would really say that actors and artists, anybody who really wants to create things on the physical plane, doing this kind of work is paramount. It's paramount. If you do this, you'll be untouchable. If you can get a hold of controlling your mind, your feelings and your thoughts and your emotions, not only will you be the master of your world, think about all the characters and all the amazing things you can be in control of. That's real power. Got to start from within. Got to start from within. Your world in its every detail is your consciousness objectified. Objective states bear witness to subconscious impressions. A state of impression results in a change of expression. The subconscious accepts as true that which you feel as true. The subconscious accepts as true that which you feel as true. So like I said, you can have all the thoughts and ideas in your mind, but until you accept it as true and believe it truly, then you'll see it. Your world in its every detail is your consciousness objectified. Objective states bear witness to subconscious impressions. A change of impression results in a change of expression. Objective states bear witness. So our outside world are just remnants. They're just evidence, receipts to what we've been calculating up in here. A change of impression, so changing of what we keep impressing and getting emotionally involved with, a change in that results in a change of what we see, expression. The subconscious accepts as true that which you feel as true. And because creation is the result of subconscious impressions, you, by your feeling, determine a creation. You are already that which you want to be. You are already that which you want to be. All the dreams, all the visions you have of your life, you're already it. You're already there. Start visualizing, start getting emotionally involved with it, start planning it because you're already there. The fact that you have the desire means that it's supposed to come through you. It's already yours. If it's really pure of heart and it's something that you really, really want, that will make you so full of joy and happiness and feel expressed, that will help the world. You're supposed to do it. It's already yours. You don't have to question it. You don't need validation from anybody, including yourself. It's already yours. So start believing it, getting emotionally involved in it. You are already that which you want to be. And your refusal to believe this is the only reason you don't see it. The only reason you don't see all of your dreams right here and right now. I really invite you to think. We're all at different places in life. Think about 2020, almost a couple years ago now. Beginning of 2020, before everything happened. Where did you think you'd be in 2022? Or September of 2021? Where did you think you'd be? Did you think you'd be more successful than you are now? Did you think you'd have more? Did you think you'd be just a little bit more ahead? If you're not, and you're disappointed, it's because you didn't believe truly that you could be there. Because if you did, you would see it. Something would be changing. Something would be different. It's all in our minds. It's not going to magically appear one day. We do it. We do it. And we can start right now, today. To seek on the outside for that which you do not feel you are is to seek in vain. For we never find that which we want. We find only that which we are. In short, you express and have only that which you are conscious of being or possessing. If you don't believe it or hold it in your heart, it will never show up in your life. To him that hath, it is given. Remember that whole thing of like, to him that hath, more is given. To him that hath not, more is taken away. Like, wow, that's harsh. See it in this way. To him that hath, literally, if you have it in your mind, you will hold it. It will be given. To him that hath, it will be given. And more, because this produces, remember, you look at trees. One seed produces hundreds of millions of oranges, because you think then those seeds, those oranges plant seeds, and then they grow trees, and those trees produce thousands of oranges, and it's like infinity. The possibilities and the abundance of how this world works, the laws of the universe, the planet as we know it, is infinite. There are no limits and boundaries. When you reach a goal, there's always another level. There's no finish line. That makes life so much fun. There's always another level. And you just continue to create and grow and grow and grow. That's what the universe is doing right now. Growing, expanding, and growing. We're a mini universe. You should always be growing and expanding. Your greatness, your potential. It's when we lose it or we reach somewhere and we thought that was it, then we start dying. No, we're always growing to the next level. And you're like, oh, wow, I didn't think this could get any better. Yes, it can. Oh, another level? Yep. Another level? Yes. Until you take your last breath in this physical body, you can continue to grow and expand just like the universe does. And it's all inside of you. So don't look outside you for anything. To seek on the outside for that which you do not feel you are is to seek in vain. For we never find that which we want. We find only that which we are. And that's what's so important. Like for me, I'm all about taking classes, workshops, getting a coach, getting a mentor, studying with somebody, and not so that they, outside of you, can help you. Don't ever sign up with anybody or go to a coach or a teacher or a seminar because you think that they have something that you don't, that you need. No, that they're there. A really good coach is there to show you where it is within you. So they're not just a great fisherman that has it all together and is going to give you a piece of fish. They're going to teach you how to fish so you can start fishing all you want. It's like the golden goose. You see those people that no matter what they touch, it turns to gold. They're a golden goose. They just keep popping out golden goose eggs, just worth so much money. You're like, wow, I just want to get next to that goose and get one of their golden eggs. No, go to a goose who's going to show you how to be a goose so you can produce all the golden eggs in your life, and then you can teach someone else. Remember that. We got to deny the evidence of the senses and appropriate the feeling of the wish fulfilled in the way to the realization of your desire. So we have got to deny the see, hear, smell, taste, touch of this physical body. We have to deny it. Close your eyes, close your ears, hide the kids, hide the wife. Go inside, get quiet. And go within and see yourself already there. We got to deny. It's called positive denial. It's called using your imagination. Going to a state that is a potentiality that doesn't yet exist in the 3D world. That's how anything gets made. Think of any dream or goal you had. One day it hit you and you're like, oh, I want that. So you started dreaming about it and seeing it in your head. Of course, it wasn't here on the 3D world, but you saw it in your head and then you opened your eyes and it still wasn't there, but you're like, oh, but I still want this. And you kept taking steps in the real world. And then all of a sudden you open your eyes and it's here. And guess what? You weren't really surprised. You weren't different because you had already been living. When you open your eyes and you experience it in the real world, you might say, wow, that really, okay, was that it? Wow. But no, that's great because it means because you were already there in your mind. Now it's just showing up. I will never forget. I remember I graduated my bachelor's degree and I was by myself, in my dress and putting on my cap and gown in the locker room. And I was just having a moment of, it was just quiet and my family was gathering to see me at the ceremony. And I just thought, wow. I wasn't disappointed, but I was unimpressed. I thought, this isn't as exciting as I thought it would be. But then I reframed it and I said, oh, because you've already been here on this day for the past 4 years, climbing up the hill to all my classes, doing all the work. I was in it, but I was already seeing myself walking across the stage graduating. I had lived there. Now I was just physically living it. So it's not about the actual goal. It wasn't about the diploma. It wasn't about the cap and gown. It was about who I was and who I grew into be. Isn't that beautiful? So we have to deny the evidence of the 3D world, the physical senses, what we see, hear, smell, taste, touch. You got to deny it. I understand that they're there. You're going to say, Carla, but my bank account's empty. I understand that. What do you want? Focus on that. Stop focusing on the empty bank account because that's just going to breed fear, anxiety, worry, which will continue to perpetuate an empty bank account. Who wants to work with or hire anybody who's anxious and worried? And on the other hand, your imagination is automatically shut down from new ideas of how to create more abundance. When you're in fear and held by the grip of something in the 3D world, that's a reality right now, you will continue to stay there. But because remember, everything that's in this world that you see right now is just a receipt from the past. So what you see right now, remember, me, this is not really who I am right now. This is who I was. The hair, the skin is just a representation of all the food I ate, all the water I drank. You're literally seeing just a reflection, a receipt of who I have been the past few months. But physically. But where I dwell now in my mind, ooh, you're going to see a new version of me in a few months because that's going to be the reflection of who I was inside. Deny your 5 senses. Stop paying attention to the 3D world. In your life or anybody else's, like we learned yesterday, your subconscious doesn't know. Even people whose lives they're living their dream life. Everything's perfect. And then before they go to bed, they scroll through the social media and they see all the horrors and they get all riled up and at the outrage. Your mind just reads outrage. You're feeling because you're emotionally involved. Remember, your subconscious mind, the seed, the soil doesn't care what you plant in it. If you're outraged, upset, even because it's happening to other people, your mind doesn't know. It thinks it's happening to you. You're going to be in a vibrational state. Your emotions create literal vibrations, right? We can feel it. When you go around people, you can feel their vibe like, boo, she pissed. We can feel it. Let's knock off the whole, this is not woo-woo. This is real. We use this language all the time. My heart wasn't in it. I wasn't feeling it. We're talking about all of this. But we've been unconsciously living by those rules. And the consequences are clear. We're crashing and burning. Let's wake up and be conscious to the inner world from which everything comes. We'll end it with this. Mastery of self-control of your thoughts and feelings. Mastery of self-control of your thoughts and feelings is the highest achievement. If you can master your thoughts and feelings, or at least learn how to better handle them daily. It's a daily task. It's not like you learn the task and you're set for life. Every day you work at it. If you can master and be in control of your thoughts and feelings, it'll be your highest achievement. You will literally be winning life. The game of life, you will win. If you can master your thoughts and your feelings, you win. It's called inner peace. no matter what's happening outside of you. However, until perfect self-control is attained, so that in spite of appearances or anything that's happening to you, you only feel that which you want to feel. So you sleep in prayer to aid you in realizing your desired states. These are the two gateways into the subconscious mind. And then we get into the next chapter is called Sleep. He's teaching us how to use these faculties, prayer, meditation, and sleep. Because think about it. We'll get into it. So juicy, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. But I hope you enjoyed that. I sure did. If you have any questions, as always, click the link on my profile page. I offer a few free calls each day. You can be one of them. I would love to chat with you about where you're going with your dreams and goals. I really love doing this work in my own life and helping others to see it. Remember, I'm not doing it for you. I don't know anything you don't know. You're the expert of your life. But just like me, I understood I needed to go and get help on how to see how I can do it. So if you're in that position, please contact me. I would be happy to answer any questions you have and to work with you if I'm a good fit for you. So as always, have a wonderful Thursday. I'll see you guys tomorrow.